Hey, everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie. On this episode of CD Junkie, I'm going to show you some of my latest acquisitions, but let me give you a little background. For the last 20 plus years, my buddies and I make a trek up to the Bay Area and hit as many stores as we can, like Amoeba in Berkeley and Rasputin's in Berkeley and Amoeba in San Francisco. And then we try to hit other stores like Streetlight and other Rasputins. Unfortunately, now because of COVID, a lot of stores close earlier, so we have to end our day earlier, so we're not able to hit as many stores as we did. But I did score some great titles, and I wanted to share just some of them with you. Now, the great thing about it is, I'm a collector. I'm not a hoarder. So what I do is a month or two before we make the trek, I start pulling stuff from the shelves and saying, I don't listen to this. I don't listen to that. I don't listen to that. And then I start making a box. So I eventually sell those to friends or trade them in, and it basically pays for my trip pretty much. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I was able to get here. First thing I'm going to show you is I was able to get the Eberly Brothers Box Set, which I wanted for quite a while. Now, I got this for a great price. As you can tell, the box is a little torn and damaged right there, but that's perfectly fine because the booklet and the CDs are in great shape. So I was able to get that for a great price. Now, yes, I did pick up a couple Christmas titles, and I'll show those to you real fast. I got this Frank Sinatra, Jolly Christmas. Now, I have all these songs on different Frank Sinatra compilations, but I wanted them in the exact order that my dad used to listen to all the time, because he was a big Frank Sinatra fan, and this was his favorite Christmas album. Picked up the Supremes Christmas. I picked up this cool little bachelor pad Christmas compilation. As you know, it's a bunch of lounge and exotica music, which is great. Now let's get into rock mode. I was able to pick up these 4 deluxe Rolling Stones titles, which I've wanted. Some Girls is actually my favorite Stones album. Now, this title here, I didn't pick up over the weekend, but it arrived in the mail over the weekend. I just wanted to show it. It's the new album from Tim Finn and Phil Manzanera. Tim, of course, was Split Enz, and Phil Manzanera was in Roxy Music. And the last time they actually worked together was when Phil Manzanera produced the second Split Enz album. So this is, it's more of a Latin feel to it. But let's go back to the stuff I bought during my road trip here. I bought the new Stranglers album, Dark Matters. I bought The Cure, Boys Don't Cry, another title that I already had all the songs for. But I bought this album when it came out on PVC. And the reason I bought it, believe it or not, is because it was produced by Chris Perry. And Chris Perry co-produced the first Jam album. And I was a huge fan of the Jam. So I thought, oh my gosh, it has to sound like the Jam. They don't sound like the Jam. So I was kind of surprised at first. They were a trio, and I was thinking they were going to sound like the Jam. They didn't, but it's awesome. I basically love The Cure up to about maybe Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. And then I stopped listening to them after that. But let's see what's next. Oh, Godspeed the Shazam. This is a popular power pop band that everybody loves this album. Now, I already had the blue covered one that was just self-titled called the Shazam, but I was also able to pick up 2 more Shazam titles. Picked up this Stephen Duffy and Lilac Time album that I did not have. Now, here's another thing that I definitely already have on CD. Squeeze Argy Bargy. I've been a fan of Squeeze since basically I heard Cool for Cats first, then I heard this, and they became an instant favorite of mine. Now, I have the 2 CD deluxe expanded edition of this, but I found this for such a great price. And I was thinking, well, does my expanded version have the 2 bonus tracks that are on this one? And so I thought, well, since it's such a great price and you don't see it out in the wild that often, this remastered version, I decided I'd pick it up. Now, the 2 CD deluxe edition does have those 2 tracks. So this is probably going to end up in one of my friends' collections because Squeeze is such a great band. Here's an odd one here. Miguel Boze. I believe the XXX stands for probably 30 as opposed to XXX. The reason I originally got this album back in 87 or so was because it was produced by Tony Mansfield from New Music. And he also produced like Captain Sensible and the first Aha album and the 2 Naked Eyes albums. So I was a big Tony Mansfield fan. So when he produced this album, I had to get it. It's got some really cool tracks. It's typical late 80s, kind of smooth, closer to, let's say, Black. Not really Blue Nile, but if you like that kind of stuff, you'll like this Miguel Boze album. Then I picked up this OMD. This is Architecture and Morality, the singles. This isn't the album. This is just the singles from the album and all the corresponding B-sides and bonus tracks. So it's jam-packed full of songs, but they're like, some of them are extended demos, weird B-sides, and it's really fantastic. I love OMD, one of the great 80s bands. Speaking of the 80s, there's this really quirky Japanese duo called Frank Chickens. Two females, and to say their music is eccentric is really an understatement, but they're really fun too. So this is one that I did not have. It's called Club Monkey by Frank Chickens. And I'm not a big fan of comedy records. I have very few comedy records in my collection, but I haven't seen this in a while. It's Barnes and Barnes, the best of Barnes and Barnes. So this does have the song Fish Heads and a lot of other songs. Usually I don't laugh at it. I do find it humorous because they are talented musicians and they do write great hooks. So I definitely needed to have it in my collection. Now, the bulk of the CDs that I bought, and I bought a lot more than I'm going to show you, the bulk of them is for Ski Lodge. And whether or not you've heard me talk about Ski Lodge, it's a radio show that I have on Mixcloud. And then I do a live show on Tuesday nights where I play that Mixcloud show, and a lot of people come and they talk about the music that's being played, and they hear some things for the first time, or they share their knowledge of the bands that are playing, and it's really fun. And if you can make it, it's usually Tuesday nights here on this channel at 6 p.m. Pacific time. First, I'm going to show you the softer side of Ski Lodge. Maybe you can call it lounge or easy listening or vocal, but Art Van Dam, any album with an accordion player and then a hot mama below him, I need to own that. And plus, a lot of this stuff was great price. So, if I saw it for $9.99, I'd go, but if I saw it for $1.95, I go, yeah, I'm going to get that. Now, here's something here, Darla Hood. Now, I already own the CD. This is the Darla Hood, the Darla from the Little Rascals, but these are all the recordings that she made when she was like in her 20s or 30s. There's exotica, lounge, swing, pop. And there's a song on this album that I love called Flower of Love, but I already have this, but I had to pick it up because it was a great price, and it's probably going to end up in one of my friends' collections. The next one here is Percy Faith. You got to love Percy Faith. Here's an Acker Bilk compilation, a 2-CD Best of Julie London, 2 albums on 1 disc by Joni James, beautiful voice, 2 different twofers from crooner John Gary, a gospel album from Johnny Mathis that I've never seen on CD, or at least I haven't seen it in a long time, and a Time Life compilation from Nelson Riddle. Now let's move over to more of the upbeat stuff. Here's 2 different compilations that feature some great instrumentals that I'll be featuring on the show. I love these. There's like 2 volumes of the sound gallery, and I love to collect these things because, these are artists that maybe have never made it on CD, but they are on these compilations. So it's definitely worth listening to Ski Lodge to find out what this kind of stuff sounds like. It's real fun. I picked up 2 separate Cass Elliot compilations, and because they both had different songs on them, and there are a couple albums that are not on CD, and I wanted to get as many songs from those albums that I could get on compilations. But speaking of Cass Elliot, she also recorded an album with Dave Mason, so I picked that up. That's Dave Mason and Cass Elliot, wonderful vocalist. Speaking of duos, Sonny and Cher, their first 3 albums for Atco, plus an extra disc of non-album singles. And this pretty much wraps up all the recordings from this time period. Got a great 2-CD compilation from the Chiffons, long out of print compilation from P.F. Sloan, a compilation from The Peanut Butter Conspiracy, a CD by Twinkle, a great British artist who isn't really known in the States, but the Smiths actually did a cover version of her song Golden Lights, but I think they did it as an instrumental. Hers is a vocal. New Colony 6, a compilation of collaborations between Nancy Sinatra and Lee Hazelwood. Okay, this is the kid in me talking. A Jerry Lewis compilation and a Three Stooges compilation. Those probably won't end up on Ski Lodge, but who knows? I might surprise you. A Roger Miller compilation on Bear Family. One of the big scores of the trip is the Would You Believe Billy Nichols for a very reasonable price. This is 2 CDs. It's got the album plus bonus tracks, plus a whole disc of demos. Great British singer-songwriter. Small faces are all over that record, but it sounds more like an American West Coast pop singer-songwriter. Fantastic. Here's one of the cool surprises, a 2-CD compilation from the Orange Bicycle. And their harmonies are very unique, so you're going to be hearing stuff from this on Ski Lodge in the future. Just really, really wonderful stuff. I'm not saying the entire CD is just drop dead great. But there are songs on this that I just thought, holy cow, that's pretty awesome. I fell in love with it immediately. Penny Arcade, with a K in arcade. This, I believe, was like unreleased material, and it was produced by Mike Nesmith back during his Monkees days. I got a McCoy's Best of, Hang On Sloopy, Crispin St. Peter's, the Pied Piper compilation, The Equals, First Among Equals, 2 CD compilation, a wonderful album by Evie Sands. I've been looking for this for a while. Just crazy, unique, wonderful, beautiful, all at the same time. And finally, throwing this in at the end because I forgot to put it in with the rock stuff. I'm a big fan of like Jaluka and Savuka and, Johnny Clegg, all the stuff that he was involved with. So I actually found very cheap a compilation featuring the best of Jaluka and Savuka on one disc. And then I was able to find a couple pre-Scatterlings of Africa Jaluka albums on one disc. And that was that. And that was it. And trust me, that's just a small portion of what I picked up. Thank you for watching. I'd appreciate it if you would like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell for future notifications, and leave a comment below. And until the next time, remember me, I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.